This is Bruce Boudreau, and it's time for Clay's Canucks commentary live. Let's go with Clay right now.
Hey Canucks fans, and welcome to Clay's Canucks commentary live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. I am Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It is Wednesday, March the 22nd. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. So glad that all you guys are here. I'm using actually my backup camera. I used my nicer camera for a big interview that I did. I'll talk about that in a second. So going back to my roots, going back to my webcam, but I think it looks just fine. A bit of a different angle, but we will make it work as always. So moderators, thank you in advance. Do what you need to do. Members, that's Legends, Hall of Fame, franchise, thanks for your support as always. And everyone else, no matter where you're watching from, whether in my beautiful neighborhood of Steveston and Richmond, in the city, in the Lower Mainland, in the province, country, continent, or around the world, thank you for being here. You know that I know that you could be watching anyone else, doing anything else, getting ready for work, school, or bed, or all three. But the fact that you are here, I always appreciate you, and I never take you for granted. So subscribe now so you can get active in the chat section, and then you get my videos every single day. Like the video. There's 30 of you in here. Thank you for waiting. Only 6 likes, so let's bump that up. You can leave donations, and I see 2 already, so I want to acknowledge them, both coming from Legends. So I thank the Legends that are in the house. Thank you, firstly, to legendary Justin Credible for the $2.20 donation. Clay, there he is. Looking forward to tomorrow. Yes, Justin and I are going to take in the Canucks Sharks game, and we are going to see the Canucks debut of defenseman Filip Hronek. So once again, Justin, thank you. Let's give some love to the legend himself in the chat. And speaking of legends, thank you, legendary Lucas Gates, for your donation, $5.50. Running down to the end of the season. It's been a wild ride, like, sub, member, and more. I wonder if the CCC ride will continue through the summer. Great question, Lucas. I've been thinking about that, thinking about what my plans are for the summer. Going to be doing a lot of traveling, though, with the kids for their bowling escapades, doing a bit of studying, but we will figure something out for sure. Thank you to Justin. Thank you to Lucas for the donation. So much like those two did, you can leave a donation. You can gift a membership, as many of you have been doing in the past. You can become a member. You can upgrade your membership. You can also rate and review if you're listening on a podcast platform. And of course, most important thing is get active in the chat section for sure. I'll go for the first 15, 20 minutes. Then I will turn it over to you. And using your feedback, I will concentrate on quality and not quantity. So I'm going to try, it's funny. I keep looking up at my old camera that's not even working. I got to look at this camera. So I don't know why I was staring like this. So today I'm going to try my new theory of slower, calmer, still thoughtful, and trying to answer, going back to my roots of questions only. And I guess you didn't want to feel left out. Joining the legend party is legendary Andrew Chang. Andrew says, someone is missing for the choo-choo train. Oh, that's me. Here you go, CCM. Who's CCM? Clay's Canucks. What's the M? Unless that's a typo, but what am I missing here? So thank you to Andrew. So all 3 legends coming in and starting off, getting the donation train well out of the station. Oh, Clay Canucks moo. And then Adam says, slow and low is the tempo. Adam, I didn't know if you replied back. I replied to your email, so maybe you've already replied back to me, and I will check it as soon as I'm done. Okay, friends. I want to talk about a couple things. I want to preview the not in great depth, but the final 12 games of the season, and then I want to turn it over to all of you. Yeah, I know what CCM is a hockey brand for sure. So tonight is pretty cool. I had a friend over named Gabriel. He has a podcast and a YouTube channel, basically talking about the intersection of mental health and sports fandom. So really, really good. Had a nice chance to talk about my fandom, my mental health, how sports can affect mental health as fans. And I'm looking forward to when that comes out sometime next week. I'll share that. Speaking of mental health, I know a few of you who are friends with me on Instagram shared this already. Thank you. Good friend of ours from the bowling community, a really good mentor to Sean and Jacob, actually named Chris Gutierrez, or Goots, as we affectionately call him. He lost his sister to suicide last week. So very sad story. We are trying to help with funeral arrangements, so on and so forth. So if you saw my post on Instagram, I know Justin, among others, was one who shared it. So thank you, Justin, for doing that as well. I appreciate that. So I was able to speak a little bit about that in my chat with Gabriel. Then I appeared with Ryan and Ryan Hank from the PP1 podcast. And it's funny. I thought that we were doing a tape show like I usually do, but no, we did a live show, and it got spit out to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Fangirl, I know you watched it. Thank you for being there, Fangirl. And yeah, the reason why it was a smaller turnout on their YouTube channel, because they're so new to YouTube, they only have 19 subscribers. So we didn't expect a big following on YouTube Live. Rather, they get their numbers on a true audio podcast platform. But thank you, Fangirl, for being there being there tonight to watch the PP1 show. And I'm here, and this is my third show since 8:30. So I'm going to make sure that I don't go too hard, make sure my voice doesn't go too crazy. Because last time I did 4 shows in a night, that's when I got sick for a week right before I went to Dallas. Thank you for appreciate all the nice comments and the thoughts and the love and the prayers to Goots and his family. So tonight, looking at the scoreboard, the Oilers beat the Coyotes in overtime, so Phoenix gets a point. And there's only one other game. Pittsburgh beat Colorado. So not a lot of change, obviously, in the standings. The only change would be that Arizona got a point because of their overtime loss. So they actually crawled to within 1 of us. So they're in 7th to last with 66 points. We're in 8th to last with 67 points, but we have 2 games in hand. So it looks like, yeah, Arizona technically is 1 point behind us, but we have 2 games in hand. So what I want to talk about really quickly is, and then I'll throw it to you. Actually, I do want to show one thing before I get to the Canucks schedule for the last 12 games. And thank you, everyone, once again, for your wonderful thoughts and words in the chat. Let's look at this. Rick Tocchet talked after practice about OEL. He doesn't expect him to return to the Canucks lineup this season. But look at what Rick Tocchet said. He's off the cast. He's walking now. He's really worked hard the last 3 or 4 weeks, and this is a big summer for him. By the way, Rick Tocchet says that every player needs to have a big summer. I know a lot of people count him out, but I've got a feeling that he's going to have a really good year. There's a gleam in his eye. I can tell he's going to use this as motivation. So he's talking about OEL, of course, and I know a lot of people have commented that the Canucks have been better since OEL has been out of the lineup. I'm not saying that Christian Wolanin is a better player than Oliver Ekman-Larsson. He's probably more efficient given his contract. I'm not saying that Guillaume Brisebois is a better player than OEL, but if, it's really interesting to see these comments. And if OEL plays well, we could have a top 4 of Hughes, OEL, Hronek, and 1 of Bear or Myers. The trick with Ethan Bear, he's owed 2.2 qualifying offer. If you don't buy out Tyler Myers and you want Hronek and Myers as your top 2, then do you want to pay Ethan Bear $2.5 million to be a third pairing defenseman? So I do think these final 12 games are going to be huge for Ethan Bear. But I do like our right side now with Hronek, Myers, and Bear. The question is, does it make sense to have all 3 of those guys next season as well? On the left, obviously it's Hughes, then it's OEL, and then it could be someone like a Dermott, a Rathbone, a Christian Wolanin. So with Hronek, I think our defense just looks a lot better, and we want OEL to play better for sure. So I want to share that. And then I wanted to talk about the Canucks last 12 games, and then I'll kind of ask a question and get your feedback on it. So Canucks are, I think they're 13-9-2 under Tocchet, 4 games over 500 still. Their schedule is not very, very tough. We're hosting San Jose tomorrow. We are in Dallas, who we beat twice in the past month on Saturday. Then a quick back-to-back in Chicago on Sunday. And this is the game where maybe Aiden McDonough makes his debut. Finish off the 3-game road trip at St. Louis, another non-playoff team. And then at home against Calgary. That's the Pride night, so that'll be interesting to see what happens. So for March, we have 5 games remaining, and 2 of them are at home. So I look at this. I think the Canucks are going to win 3 of these games. They should win against San Jose, Chicago, and St. Louis. Then in April, continuing that big homestand that started on the Friday night Flames game, you have LA, Seattle, Chicago, and Calgary on alternating nights. I think they beat Chicago, and they'll probably win one of those 3. I don't know which one, but they'll win one of those LA, Seattle, or a Calgary games. So now they're up to, did I say they'd win 3? So I guess they're up to 5 wins now. Then they wind up the season with 3 games on the road, and it's LA Kings again. Look how much we played them. Anaheim and Arizona. We should be able to beat Arizona and Anaheim, and maybe lose to LA. So maybe for me, the Canucks go 7-5, 7-4-1, 6-4-2, something like that. But I think they will get 12 to 14 points out of those games and wind up with a total, of about 81, 82 points for the season, finish 8th, 9th, or 10th. So one thing I will ask you in a second was, what do you predict the Canucks record to be over the final 12? I will say, just so we have, I will say 6-4-2. I'll say the Canucks go 6-4-2. So technically they win 6 games, they lose 6 games, but they're going to be 2 games over 500 in that 12 game span. So I will say 6-4-2. My second question that I'm going to ask you, and I'll get your feedback on it in a second, will be, who does Hronek play with tomorrow? Does he play with Quinn Hughes and you just stack a top pairing, and you could go Hughes, Hronek, then you could go, something like a Wolanin with Bear and a Breezeball with Myers. You could do something like that. Or do you split Hronek and Hughes up in different pairs? So you go Hughes and Bear, then you could go a Wolanin or a Breezeball with Hronek, and then the other one with Myers. So there's some options there. Obviously, it doesn't sound that strong without OEL. So that's the second thing, is who I've always said, try 6 games of Hronek with Hughes, try 6 games of Hronek without Hughes, and then at least you have a taste of both scenarios heading into next season. And the third thing is simply, where do you think the Canucks will finish overall? Right now they're 25th overall, which puts them 8th from the bottom. So you can say 8th from the bottom or 25th overall. Tell me where you think the Canucks will finish. So start to formulate your answers, but because I don't want to fall behind, I want to answer with quality, not quantity. I will respond to those of you that answer after the mid-show sponsor read. And you technically, because I've asked you 3 questions, you don't have to frame it as a question. Just frame. Usually I go questions only but tonight I'll read as many as I can. And I've asked the 3 questions. What's the Canucks record going to be over the final 12? How many games do you think Hronek will play with Hughes, and should he? And then what place do you think the Canucks finish in overall in the standings? So you can type in your answers now, but I'm not going to read them. I will read the answers that come in after I do my mid-show sponsor read. Shout out to my primary sponsors, Van City Experts Real Estate. Contact Jason Lim and his team for all of your real estate needs. Shout out to my secondary sponsor, Perform and Transform Personal Training and Weight Loss. Sign up now for a free 21-day weight loss challenge. Use the link scrolling across the bottom of your screen, ptformweightloss.com/CanuckClay, and Coach Patrick will contact you. Thank you to Gassy Jack Art, maker of this fine artwork. Thank you to Monkey 9 Brewing, my eternal sponsor. And thank you to Vessi Footwear. Use the code use the link tinyurl.com/VessiClay and receive a free pair of socks off of your next Vessi purchase, valued at $15 to $20. Mid-show reminder to you to subscribe, like the video, leave a donation, become a member, upgrade your membership, gift a membership, or and get active in the chat section for sure. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review. Okay, friends, now I invite you to enter your comments. And I'm scanning the ones that you left just before I was doing all that. But yeah, to try and keep up and try not to rush. Fangirl, your games add up to 10 only. They're 12 games, but you're saying 6-4, and Hronik plays with Hughes, maybe, and I'm saying we finished 24th. Okay, that's fair. So 9th from the bottom for Fangirl. We lost a few great talented men to mental health. RIP to Chester Bennington, Robin Williams, Jason Frank. I've been through mental health issues myself, and it's definitely hard to beat. Yes, and I have great empathy for those that do struggle with mental health every single day. I know many people like that. So Riley, we are here for you for sure. Canucks will finish 3-7-2 in the final 12. Looking forward to seeing Hronik's debut live. I think he gets paired with Hughes right off the bat and plays on the first PP unit. Wow. On the first PP unit instead of Hughes or with Hughes. I like it, Ricky. They will ease Hronik in second pairing with either Breezeborough or Bovenlander. Hopefully with Fanatics taking over, maybe prices will be cheaper for jerseys. We shall see indeed. Rachel Dory proof, coming from Melina myself, is entitled. Sorry, folks, it's my hot take, but she needs to let off. No need to apologize. It's your personal take, Lucas. Is fine. I don't have a opinion of Rachel Dory. I think the Canucks will finish in 9th. I figure you mean 9th from the bottom, average dude. Canucks go 9-2-1. That's very optimistic. Hey, JT Miller. I'd say 27th or 25th, but not 26th. 27th or 25th, and in the draft lottery hunt. I like it, Lucas. I'd say 6-3-3. The second question, don't be dumb. Put Hronik with Hughes. You don't trade 2 draft picks just to put him with Breezeball. And the third question, I say 7th place. Again, 7th place from the bottom, I am sure. Canucks will get 2nd overall. So, Rosero, I know you're not saying they're going to finish 2nd from the bottom, but you're saying they're going to win the lottery or win the 2nd lottery and pick 2nd overall. That's impressive. Lose to LA once. Kraken and Chicago finished 9-2-1. Hronik with a goal in his debut. That's bold. Do I think the Canucks draft a goalie in this draft to develop for the future? If they do, Fangirl, I think it's going to be very late, like 5th, 6th round, maybe 7th round. I think, you always want draft a goalie every year or every 2 at the absolute minimum because you do got to restock the pipeline. And yeah, you're going to need someone to replace Seelovs ultimately in a couple of years. 7-4-1. I think Tocchet wants to see Hronik with Hughes first, which is what I'll do if I'm Tocchet. I say we finish 23rd in the league. Thank you for that. With Hughes on PP1. Wow, that'll be interesting. I meant between 25th. That makes more sense, Lucas. Thank you. Speaking of NHL jerseys, I was hoping for Under Armour, but I have not had any problems with Fanatics delivering my jerseys on time, even though my Raptor jersey got lost in the mail. Okay, so everything except for the Raptors jersey. Still getting a quality player. I agree, Lucas. Teams can move a couple of spots up in the draft. No, they can't move up unless you win the lottery. If you're a 3rd or 4th, if you win the lottery, you move up. I guess you can, but you can move up as high as 10 spots, or you drop down a couple spots if 2 teams win the lottery, and then you get pushed back. I tuned in late last night, but despite the loss, I'm glad Canucks wore black skate because Golden Knight jerseys are straight up imitations. You know what was interesting? When the Canucks, when the Golden Knights were doing their post game and they had Vancouver Warriors logos behind them, it's the same colors, white, gray, black, and gold. So it almost looked like they were appropriately in their dressing room. Put Hronik with Hughes to start, then Oyo when he comes back. That's fair, Jack. when the entire blue line is healthy. You know, when they're healthy, I'm going Hughes Ronick. No, I'm going Hughes. Oh gosh, Hughes Myers. No, Hughes Bear. But then you have Myers as a third pairing at $6 million. Oh gosh. Maybe you're going Hughes Ronick, OEL Myers. No, I don't like OEL Myers. That's tough. I want Dermott to be healthy. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going Dermott or Rathbone or Breezeball with Myers. I'm going OEL with a new guy we're getting on the right. I don't think it's gonna be Bear. I'm going Hughes with Ronick. That's what I'm doing. If I get to be Bettman, no more 3-point games, and I also give conference winners a chance of playing which wildcard team. This will create more discussion. Oh, you mean getting to choose their wildcard team? Yeah, that would be very interesting. That would be very interesting for sure. Hughes and Bear on the first line, and Ronick with Myers on the second for balance. Yeah, that's I think what we'll see tomorrow, maybe. Canucks will finish 12th worst, win the lottery to pick second, and by some random miracle, Bedard will drop to second because whoever wins first will pull a Montreal curveball and pick Fantilli or Michkov. I'm all for that, Justin. Let's come up with all those theories tomorrow night. You did get the Raptors jersey, but now you have two of the same one. Well, you can send one to me. No, you don't have to. Do you think Kuzmenko fits Tocchet's identity of structure and discipline? He will eventually, Peter, but he's still learning the NHL game. I got the Vessi shoes and free socks, so that was quick, but the shoes are one size too big, so I'm exchanging for one size up or one size down maybe. They are super nice and comfy, though. The socks are very nice, too. That is awesome. Thank you, IC, for that update. Glad you I'm glad they're going to work out for you. I have not seen the Vancouver Warriors' new mascot. Canucks will go 8-4. I don't think we'll beat Phoenix or Arizona. We'll go 1-1 for both LA Calgary games. That's fair. Any players on Vegas you like to meet? I actually wouldn't mind meeting Jonathan Quick, Jack Eichel, Shea Theodore, those guys. They will go 6-4-1. Rob, we're missing a game. That's only 11. And wind up drafting 6 overall. Mental health is a challenge because it's not visible. I suffer from panic attacks. Sometimes being not well isn't visible. Your mind affects your body and soul. This stream makes me smile. Thank you, 20K Clay. Thanks, Adam. It's going to take a while to get there, but more importantly, thank you for sharing so honestly. We are here for you. Hey, Jaskrin, with all the wingers we have on the roster, how many wingers could be gone by October? Maybe 1 or 2. Maybe 1 or 2 for sure. Hughes and Bear. Realistic Canucks get 9th or 10th overall pick, but the guy they target will be gone by then, so they'll trade the pick in hopes of pushing it again for next season. Okay, more theories, Justin. You can run by me tomorrow. Kempner Canucks says, everyone hit that like button. Let's show Clay some support. Thank you. Also, make sure you support Kempner Canucks Rev Trev on his YouTube channel. Oyel Myers is like putting a hippo and a rhino together in a cage. Interesting visual. Mental health wise, I have a distant family member dealing with some real crap, to put it simple. OCD sucks. Indeed. How good do you think Bear is overall? I think he's okay. I can see why Carolina and Edmonton moved on from him, though. He's just okay. Do you think the Canucks go after Gavrikov on July 1st? People have been talking about his name a lot recently. If they were able to clear caps, that is, he would round out the defense nicely. Yes, he would be an upgrade for sure. Hughes, Bear, Oyel, Hronik, Dermott Myers. I like that. I'm just not sure if Bear's good enough to play with Hughes long term. Hughes, Bear, Oyel, Hronik, Breezeball, Myers. Okay, very similar. When are you going to the Canucks game? My next one is actually tomorrow. I will look up Timber after. Thank you, Lucas. Kuzmenko is a rookie, but he's not eligible for the Calder Trophy. Will Demko get one shutout before the season ends? My guess is no. When do you think the Canucks will end this cycle of mediocrity? Always losing at the beginning of the season, always win at the end of the season. I'd love to say as early as next season. Maybe it takes a couple of years still. McDavid, 60 goals tonight, game-winning goal in overtime. Hopefully we get our own Connor the Phenom. That would be amazing. We can talk about that tomorrow too, Justin. When you get jerseys, do you have no preference or pick players staying here longer than 2 seasons? I definitely look at players who are going to be here. That is my preference. or who I'm going to guess you're going to be here. Hughes Bear. By the way, those pairings I gave are for next stream. For next stream. Well, how do you know what I'm talking about for next stream or next game? Would you rather eat with me, Patrick, or go to the roller rink with Ricky Rocket Tocket? I'm a decent rollerblader, but no, I'd rather go eat with Patrick Alvin. Also, my advocacy tends to follow into mental health. Yep, there's a lot of connection there for sure. Bear is my cousin. Nice. This community is like family to everyone. I try to have that vibe for sure. My mental health took a little bit of a hit when my duck Huey passed, but one of my wrestling coaches gave me advice. Finding something to do helps with the pain. Good, Riley. Glad you're coming out of it. Hughes Bear, Oyel Hronik, Dermot Myers. Really expensive blue line. Yes, expensive indeed. What do you think will be the best match at WrestleMania? And which match are you looking forward to the most? There's going to be a few that I think are going to be good. I think the Usos versus Zayn and KO is going to be exciting. Of course, Rhodes and Reigns will be good too. So I think both of those will be really good. When I was at the Ducks Canucks game, I saw Zegras go out to Pedersen. What's your thoughts on Zegras? Talented player, bit of a punk, Kempner. That's what I think of him. Hughes, Tanev, Edler, Bear. No, wait. Very good. Kuzmenko is over the age of 26 prior to the season. Disqualified the Calder. Indeed. Who's my favorite player? It was Horvat when he was here. So he's still my favorite non-Canuck player. Obviously, my favorite Canuck now is indeed Pedersen. I have Rise Against. No, I haven't, Riley. Demko will get a shutout on the second last game of the year. Okay, I'll remember that, Jarvis. Very good. My mental health is not that good when I'm sick and I have a hard time sleeping like I am with this cough I have. Shannon, I always appreciate your honesty too. I hope you get better soon. I really do. Imagine how different this team would look with some of the trades we could have made in the past. Kessler trade, we could have had Theodore instead of Spiza or Gunther instead of Oyel. Justin, I hear you. I understand where you're going, but it's also not dangerous. You can do whatever you want, but it's tricky to play the hindsight game for sure because we could do that with anyone. And any team could do that. But I totally hear what you're saying. What I've learned with mental health is that sometimes you're fighting battles that you most likely won't win without getting help. I battled for years until I realized I needed to get assistance. Awesome. I see. It takes a certain strength and humility to admit that you need help. Oh, next season. Gotcha. Although, Jessica, that was like 5 minutes ago now, so I can't remember them. If Francesco fired me and named you GM, would you turn our team around? Absolutely, yes. If you were having a meal, they're playing, but if you had a choice, if you were having a meal and they are paying, but if you had the choice of Alvin, Aquilina, or Tocchet, who would you pick? I think I'd have the most interesting conversation with Rick Tocchet. I hope we buy out Pullman. Yeah, I have to look at the buyout numbers. We'll see. I doubt Asuka is winning at WrestleMania. Also sucks that WWE treats her like how Marc-Andre Fleury got treated by Vegas. Yes, Riley, I know you use that analogy for sure. How strong do you think the Canucks blue line would be if Tanev was still on this team? Well, a healthy Tanev is amazing. He's our second pairing right shot D-man behind Hronik. It would be perfect. It would be perfect. But that's, big if he's healthy. But I could see why the Canucks, here's a good point, Justin. Here's another thing about hindsight. I mean, Peter asked the question, but I talked to Justin about hindsight. I would love Tanev on this team right now. Even though we lost, everyone said that Vegas game was a complete game, probably one of the best in the season. Yeah, we talked about that last night. It seemed like a pretty good effort for sure. You could say shutout in a stream. You don't believe in that jinx, do you? I think it won't happen tomorrow, but I believe a Hughes Hronik pairing will be tried at some point in the season. Tanner Pearson may not come back uprightly. It's pretty scary. They're saying he's got to go through more surgeries. He had hand surgery at the end of the year. I hope you feel better, Shannon, for sure. New $5 menu, Lions games. Our Doman keeps delivering. Will Francesco lower concession prices? Believe it when I see it, for sure. $5 menu, wow. Clay for GM, let's do it. The Blackhawks announced they will not be wearing Pride jerseys on Pride night because of safety concerns for the Russian players. I like to think Canucks will wear them and show their support. We'll find out in a week and a bit, for sure. A what if in any sports means absolutely nothing, unfortunately. It's always fun to speculate what happens in the past, what can happen in the future. But for me, I can only do so much of that, though. Someone on Twitter said the reason why everyone thinks PD is better than Suzuki is because Suzuki is Asian. I'm like, what? PD is miles better. Well, PD is better than Suzuki, period. Nick Suzuki is half Asian, period. Those are two separate statements that don't have anything to do with each other. I think Russia as a country is cooked. They won't win the war. Okay. Haven't watched any games of Philip Hronek. Is he pretty good at blocking shots? Yeah, Jarvis, he's a complete player. He's actually an offensive play driver. Got a heavy shot and is great at zone exit. So I think his offense is actually better than his defense, but we will see. This season has been tough to watch because we watched this franchise make so many short-sighted moves for short-term gain, and the new regime's moves so far is also looking short-sighted. Yeah, we've seen a bit of good and a bit of bad for sure. Hopefully Vancouver beats San Jose. I agree. If you went in net against Boston with the Canucks hosting a home ice, you face 40 shots. How many go in? Oh, about 29 of them, I think. Who's better, Darlene or Hughes, including last 5 years, not just this year? The last 5 years, Hughes has been better, but Darlene could ultimately end up being the better player. And that's fine. Darlene was first overall. And we can still be happy with Hughes. Would I waive my no move clause to bring in McDavid? I would take one for the team for sure. On my peak of anxiety, I couldn't talk to anyone because I was too nervous, and this community helps me. But sometimes I get too nervous, I misspell. Who cares? No one cares about misspelling, about grammar. No one cares about that kind of stuff. Glad you're here. No problem. I think Hronek's going to be great, but he's coming off an injury. He hasn't played in a month, so we'll see. But I hope that he's going to be good tomorrow, and I hope he's going to be here for a long time. Would you say that if Hamhuis and Raymond weren't hurt and Rome didn't hit Horton, would you say we had a better chance in the 2021 finals? Yes, absolutely yes. Canucks bias aside, would you rather have PD and McCarr, PD and Hughes, or PD and Fox? PD and McCarr, only because if I consider McCarr and Hughes virtually equal, I go with the right-hand shot because those are harder to find. And same deal goes with Fox, I guess. But I'll go PD and McCarr if I had to choose of those three pairings. Thank you, legendary Lucas. $5 concession was decent place, and maybe was indicated by Doman to do such. I'll probably be doing something with them again this year with the day job. Awesome. Good luck with that. And thank you, Lucas, for the donation for sure. Chicago is scheduled to wear their Pride jerseys versus Canucks this Sunday. If they don't, do you think Canucks would wear theirs that game to get the point across? No, you don't wear the Pride jerseys when you're not at home. I don't think so. So no, I hear what you're saying, Ricky, but I don't think the Canucks do that. And you don't want to show up the other team. They're going to have, if Chicago doesn't wear them, they're going to have enough flack to deal with for sure. Clay, if you had a WWE hockey team, who would be in your starting lineup? I have to pick guys who I think would be good at hockey. Oh gosh. I put Braun Strowman in net. I put Reigns and Solo Sikoa on D. And then up front, I'd have Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and Sami Zayn there. A little small, I think, up front. I do think Hronek can become a core player for years to come, but let's see him play his first game tomorrow for sure. Am I going to the Calgary game on the 31st? I don't think so. We're trying to sell our tickets for that game. If you are, I'll meet you and you'll meet me, the GM, Patrick Alvin. Although you spelled your name wrong when you typed it in there, although your handle's right. So we'll talk close to that game. I'll take a $10 hot dog and pop and chip combo at a Nucks game. $10 hot dog. It might be more than that. I do a very good voice impersonation of Patrick. It says, actually, I just said I don't make fun of spelling mistakes. So I take that back, although you should be able to spell your own name. If we wore a Pride jersey against San Jose, I'm sure James Ryan would not mind. Yeah, we won't get into that. At my old job, some mornings I would be so stressed I would just go to the hospital. These days, my job is stress-free. That's great to hear, Coach Rob. That must have been scary, though, for sure. Russia made a law on gay propaganda, and most teams are backing out of Pride Nights jerseys in fear of repercussions and safety concerns for the Russian players. Yes, I'm aware that that was the whole Minnesota thing with Kaprizov and others. The player Arizona took with a draft pick, Dylan Guenther, still hasn't made the NHL, but he's still young and could be. Oh, yeah. I've seen some highlights, and we saw him at the World Juniors. He's a good player. He's a good player. Speaking of a WWE hockey team, there was a WWF table rod hockey team. Oh, that's pretty cool. People are also saying on Twitter that Hughes is a liability on defense, and they can't give him the credit for the record he just set. Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I know that he certainly doesn't think he's a liability on defense. He even said as much. If Triple H scheduled you, Sean, and Jacob to compete at WrestleMania, which 3 wrestlers would you like to compete against? Well, if it was scripted, and I know I wouldn't get my butt kicked, I would love to fight like the Shield. That would be hilarious. That is not like me, Rob. I've not been in the hospital in a long time either. I hope not, Shannon. Riley, Charlotte, Becky, Rhonda. Oh, you really like these female wrestlers, don't you, Riley? People's personal lives have no place in sports. Do we make all teams wear Easter egg jerseys? People hunt, and we put a skin deer in jersey? It's ridiculous. Yeah, I think some people, I won't get it too much, but I think I will over the next week. It's just trending that way. I think some people are getting sick of whatever side you're on, are getting sick of the talk. It's tricky. Yes, we are proud of you, Shannon. Omos and Lesnar on defense. Oh yeah, I can't believe I forgot about Brock. Brock would just put someone through the board. I am worried about Omos's mobility, Justin. Yeah, actually, Jaskrin, Justin actually answered this really well. If you look up the chat a bit earlier, but there are laws in Russia that make it more dangerous, more prohibitive to take a pro gay stance. So Justin's comment was really good, though. If you can read that. I don't like politics and sports. I've seen it firsthand as an NBA fan. I always feel like sports and politics should be separate. Some people do look to sports as an escape. Others expect players, coaches, franchises to use their stage to as a as a podium. So it's tricky. I just hate. Well, yeah. He was good. He was doing some thumbnails for me. Then he kind of flaked off without even saying bye, though. So he puts out good work. I like him to source his sources better. He often says stuff or he takes quotes without saying who they're from. So, but I do think he's very talented and committed. So overall, he's good. But he's young, and I think he has some maturing to do as well. I'd still take Myers over Omos. Okay, I'm going to hold off on the wrestling and politics talk for a second. Do you think Canucks will sign PD this season? I do think they will sign him this summer, Shannon, because I simply think they don't want it to be a distraction. And unlike Horvat, I should say, they know that they want to commit to him. 10-year deals for jerseys. I'm not much of a jersey guy. I know Fanatics getting a lot of flack. Coming off of Reebok and Adidas, it just seems like a step down, but I need to learn a bit more. But I've seen some people sharing stories and horror stories and bad experiences with Fanatics for sure. Thoughts on the Q banning fighting? Yeah, I've never been a huge proponent of fighting. I do understand, though, you take it out, then you might get guys taking cheap shots and stuff. So that's a tough one. I don't have a stance on it. I'm just more interested to see how it goes. A mini tournament at the end of the season between non-playoff games. Winner takes number 1 overall. That would be amazing. But then I guess, it takes away any incentive to tank, I guess. Who do you think is more overpaid, Louis or Oyel? 6 million. Yeah, Eriksson was such a disappointment. I don't think he had one good year, whereas Oyel had a decent year last year. So I'm going to say Louis Eriksson actually was worse, was more overpaid. Do you think Horvat is struggling because he doesn't have PD Hughes Mueller feeding them the puck? Yeah, there's definitely, I don't want to say a talent drop off because the Islanders are a better team, but there's a different style and different type of player he's playing with for sure. What do you think should be the reverse retro? I don't know if I need to answer this because I don't think they're doing reverse retros anymore. I saw a story about that, but if I had to do one, something to do with the Flying V. Ben, the hockey guy, had a pretty good video today talking about the whole jersey thing. Okay, I'll check that out. Thank you. CCC Street Hockey Tournament. Proceeds go to Canucks for Kids. Now, there is an idea that I could get behind. I hope they get another right-hand D this offseason or maybe a steady third pairing one. Yeah, I do think Ethan Bear, I'm not convinced they're going to qualify him. Louis scored in his first game. Louis could kill penalties. Reverse retro program is done. Yeah, in his own net. 3 players' jerseys to possibly get one of Hughes, Pedersen, or Miller. Nice. I think those are 3 good choices for sure. On another channel, I heard ban fighting because they don't want 17-year-olds fighting 20-year-olds. Health and safety. That makes sense too. Give playoff teams a week off while non-playoff teams do their thing. Interesting. That's that whole tournament to get first overall. Do I think we need another left-hand D? No, if they're gonna commit to OEL, I think the right side is still my priority, even though Bear is there now, Pullman is still on IR, but I like Hughes and OEL, and I think one of Dermott, Wolanin, or Rathbone could be a third pairing D man on the left side. If I had one superpower, what power would you choose? When I was young, I'd say X-ray vision, but I think that's very immature to say for obvious reasons. I think maybe a teleport, just no waste of time commuting. If I wanted to get a new Canucks jersey, who would be great? Less money to get, as not because the players have been on the team longer. Yeah, I think, yeah, obviously if you're buying all from the same place, they're all gonna be the same price. But it depends if you're going to get a replica, knockoff, made somewhere else, whatever it may be. Yeah, no, get whoever you want, Shannon, for sure. Getting a blank jersey is always the safest. And yeah, I've never gotten a customized jersey until this year when I put Canuck clay on my new skate one. Ovi is 74 goals away from Gretzky. Yes, it could be in 2 years. Fighting is okay if you're standing up for a teammate. I think fighting makes the sport special for hockey. A hockey tournament, form some teams and have some fun. Alda MC, that would be fun. I think Ethan Bear, there are some moments like that giveaway. I like Ethan Bear. There are just some moments like that giveaway. Yeah, he's not completely solid. Canucks defensemen all the time. Wingers are always around, but centers are. Yeah, we need a third line center for sure. Clean hits shouldn't mean having to fight. I agree with that completely. Invisibility, that's good. Clay, you think I could dangle you, bud? Yes, I think so. You could probably, I know you can skate. Even if you couldn't skate, you could probably still dangle me. The most 40 goal plus seasons. That's awesome. In Sude, can we react to your first video? Huh? Do you mean in Sunday? Can we react to your first video? Like my first ever video on this channel? I think it's one with my kids. You should sign your own jersey to increase this value or wreck it. One of the two. Clay, I bet you score on me in hockey. Not so sure. Lucas says a tournament would be perfect for the summer and slow down in hockey talk. Nice. Hollingworth, number 17. I like that. That's not going to work at all. Reeves said in the interview with NHL insider Jackie Redmond, said by Ryan Reeves about potentially banning fights. Well, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me that he would say that. What's my frame? Height and weight. 5'6", way too much. How's that? Okay, friends, I'm going to wrap up there. It's funny. I want to make these shows 30 to 35 minutes, but I've been trending to 45 to 50 minutes. So I'm going to have to look at that a little bit because I want to make sure that these shows don't overstay their welcome. My energy level is fine, but I just want to make sure that I'm not going 45, 50 minutes every time, even though I love being with you guys, but yeah, we'll see. That's just a thought I had As I can't believe how quickly 45 minutes went today. So friends, thank you for being here. Moderators, thank you for your help. Didn't look like you had to do too much, which is a good thing. Legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Justin Credible, legendary Andrew Chang. All three legends were here, and they were the three people who donated tonight. Thank you. I appreciate all three of you. I appreciate franchise members. I appreciate Hall of Fame members. And I appreciate everyone else who became new subscribers tonight, and for everyone for taking part in the chat. Thank you to Van City Experts Real Estate. Thank you to Perform and Transform Personal Training and Weight Loss. And thank you to all of you. Always appreciate you. Never take you for granted. So on your way out, subscribe, like the video, leave a donation, become a member, upgrade your membership, gift a membership. Tomorrow I'm at the game with a legendary Justin Credible, and then I'll get home in time to do my live stream at 11. Justin, I will text you in the day. I will we'll figure out where we're meeting and at what time, but I have an idea, and I'll run it by you tomorrow. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being here tonight. And if you're at the game tomorrow night, I'm going to drag, it's up to Justin if he wants to come down with me. I'm going to go down to section 115 and meet Mark, meet Ricky. So outside of section 115 in the second intermission, I'll be outside of room section 115 for anyone who wants to say hello. Okay. Sounds good. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. And thanks for being with me here tonight. And speaking of, I think someone asked me what my height and weight was. I will say this. Earlier today, my wife Gail looked at me and says, Clay, I think you're getting fat. But I told her that in my defense, I've had a lot on my plate recently. God bless. And go Canucks go. Booyah.